Welcome back, you guys. I hope you're still happy. I hope you're still ecstatic after that big hard-fought win against Crystal Palace. Today, I'm here to bring you guys a player ratings video after that 3-2 win against them. And if you like today's video, smash that like button. I want to get over 2,000 likes for today's video. Without wasting any more time, we get straight into things. And this time, I'm going to start differently by starting with the substitutes first before working down to the first team. I'd start with Jorginho, and I thought his introduction near the end of the second half was perfect timing. He came in and instantly controlled the tempo. Controlled that tempo perfectly. He was moving that ball from side to side. The Palace players couldn't close him down, couldn't press him, and once he came on our midfield, we're able to get back into the game, and from then on, we could start to create attacks down in Palace's half. Now, I thought it was a good cameo, and I was really impressed by the fact that Jorginho, who's barely played, who hasn't got any minutes whatsoever, did not look rusty at all. He came in and he started playing like he's been playing week in, week out. So it sums up his great leadership, his great mentality, and he had a very good cameo. I'm going to score him a 7 out of 10. We now move on to the second player, and that's Loftus-Cheek. Now, he came on and he got an important assist, the key assist which essentially won us the game. Now, I just thought it was so saucy, it was so audacious, and he made it so effortless. That little dink ball over the top, that little bit of extra composure that sometimes we lack in the final third. I think at times we have players that tend to pass the ball too fast, and sometimes, if you just keep your composure, if you keep the ball in those tight areas, you can find new passing angles and openings to get those assists. So it was a very good cameo. At times I thought that he wasn't looking too physical when it came to those 50-50 balls, but I think that comes down to him just returning back from injury. So he's going to get there. Another promising performance. I'm going to score Ruben a 7 out of 10. We now move on to the third and final sub, and that's Tammy Abraham. Now, I was very impressed with this cameo today. I was happy to see him get back on that score sheet. He's been very close. He's created so many dangerous situations, but he just has not got that goal. Today, he came on, and just as like in previous games, when he's come on, he brings something different to the team. That ability to run the channels, make those runs in behind too, is very important for us. It allows our midfield to get back in the game because Tammy is forcing opposition defenders to follow him, and he carries that defensive line along with him. So it does create that space. It is very useful, and I like that he gives us an added bit of something whenever we need that in second halves. His performance was good, and I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. We now move on to the first team, starting with Olivier Giroud up front, and I thought his game was pretty decent. Now, he would score much higher if he was more clinical in front of goal. A few times, some unbelievable balls were played to him, and twice he did not execute them and did not get those goals. And Giroud's lack of clinical finishing tonight could have cost us in the end. So I thought this was a decent performance, nothing spectacular. At times he was giving us a platform, but at times I thought his play was a tiny bit sloppy. I'm going to score Giroud a 6.5 out of 10. We now move on to Willian, and Willian again, he steps up and he records 2 assists. His goal contributions this season have been absolutely unreal. By far his best personal season with us. He carries that threat, and it's just the overall excellence throughout his game. There were so many times Willian was making those important tackles to help win possession back for us, kickstart other counter-attacks. He was the platform we could use to play balls out wide, where he could use his excellent pace, control, and ability to get on the ball, and obviously carry those counter-attacks. And obviously his involvement for the first goal and the second goal were key. It was a big performance, very good, and Willian, I personally feel, has a big opportunity to be voted our player of the season. He's become one of our most vital players. Willian's going to score an 8 out of 10. We now move on to Christian Pulisic, and wow, every single game it's like he's getting better and better and better. What an unbelievable goal he scored with his left foot. Unreal techers. Honestly, that technique, left foot, great goal to see. And as I've been stressing, I love the fact that Christian is getting on the end of these moves. He has that faith and confidence in his own abilities to know that he can make that decisive difference whenever it matters. He was constantly driving at the Palace defense, and whenever Christian was on the ball, you could sense that Palace were feeling scared. They could feel that danger, and it was great to see Christian just taking full responsibility and accountability on that field, making things happen for us time and time again. I really liked when he played between the lines too, and I liked the threat he brought out wide. On top of that, he matched an excellent attacking display with a great defensive display too. He's getting better and better, and I'm going to score Christian an 8.5 out of 10. We now move on to the midfield 3, and we start with Ross Barkley. Now, I thought his work rate today was very good. One of the main reasons why we can afford to use 2 number 8s in the team is due to the amount of great defensive work both our 8s put into the game. So in that sense, Barkley was very responsible. He was coming back and doing his thing. He played one great pass in particular throughout this game. It wasn't a standout performance, but it was just a professional, safe performance. I'm going to score Barkley a 6.5 out of 10. And now we move on to his partner in Mason Mount. I thought Mount is just continuing to excel playing in this number 8 role. He was playing with source today, he was expressing himself, he was showing that confidence, especially in the first half. He made a lot of our great moves happen, especially his involvement for the second goal, and Mount is starting to be this great pre-assist player. He constantly has this involvement in every single attack we create, every single attack. You know, his pre-assist record is absolutely mad, and today just sums up why he's going to be a very special player under Lampard. He was there for the fight, he pressed hard, he worked very hard too, and was positive with his use of the ball. I'm going to score Mason Mount a 7.5 out of 10. And to complete this midfield 3, we end with Billy Gilmour. For me, I thought this was a good performance. His pass completion was in the high 90s. He played one key pass too, and defensively, he was very good. He won most of his duels, he won some crucial interceptions too, and he was happy and involved to get stuck in and take this fight to Crystal Palace. You know, I know sometimes that these teams can make it difficult. You know, if they're pressing us, if they're going man for man against us, it means that we aren't going to look as maybe classy and silky on the ball aesthetically, but it doesn't take away the end product. It doesn't take away the application with the ball too. And for me, if you look at that performance again from Gilmour, you notice the amount of great work he did. And this is definitely a game that Gilmour's going to learn a ton from. I'm going to score Billy a 7 out of 10. We now move on to the back 4, starting with Azpilicueta. He's becoming one of our most consistent players. Another big defensive performance today. He was constantly involved in the tackles. He was constantly helping stem those Crystal Palace counter-attacks too. Involved throughout all aspects of the game. I was very impressed with him. He was a leader on the field. I'm going to score Aspi a 7 out of 10. And now we move on to our defense, starting with Kurt Zouma. Now, there's a possibility that Kurt played the best defense performance of the season. He was there for us every single time we needed him. I really mean it. Every single time we needed him, Kurt was there. He won countless tackles against Benteke, countless aerial duels too, some great interceptions. He moved that ball cleanly and crisply too, and we just cannot forget that that incredible last-ditch tackle made right at the end. That is prime Kurt Zouma. That is league title-winning Zouma. He's been doing this for how many years? We've seen him produce moments like this against Man City's, Liverpool's, etc, etc. He's always been a great player, and for me, I'm very happy that he's starting to lose this underrated label that I felt he's had for a long time. I'm going to score Zouma an 8.5 out of 10. And now we move on to Zouma's defensive partner in Christensen. Now, as he started the game, I was very impressed by Christensen. I saw some great moments of defensive awareness on both. I thought their ability to just help stem those Palace counter-attacks was working brilliantly. How many times was Christensen pushing Palace defenders wide, allowing the other guys in the team to recover, regroup, and get back in position. I don't know what happened in the second half. It felt like he was starting to get a bit rattled by the physicality of Benteke, and he just wasn't keeping his composure. He was more error prone. You could tell that he just wasn't fully in the game. So I'm sure he'll come back from this moment. I'm sure that he'll learn from this too. I think Christensen is a very good defender, but he seems to struggle sometimes when it comes to that physical battle. So I don't know the personal solution for him to get more comfortable and better with that, but he has to find something very quickly, because remember, he's playing in the Premier League, and Premier League is known for its physical strikers. I'm going to score Christensen a 6 out of 10. And to end things with the back 4, we move on to Reece James. Now, I keep seeing a lot of criticism about his recent performances, but for me, I think I saw a different game. Yes, he was more involved defensively, and that's because Palace were pushing men forward and they were making a real game of things. However, I just thought Reece was competing. He was competing for the aerial balls. He won his tackles too. He was sticking tight to Wilfried Zaha, making some crucial interceptions as well. And of course, there were difficulties. Teams are starting to target the right-hand side a lot more, but Reece keeps his own. Reece competes. Reece doesn't shy away. He isn't phased. You know, let's say he has a few rusty moments. That doesn't mean that his entire game's rusty. And I think sometimes we just like see things in such like a biased way. It means that we don't see the full picture. We don't see the full game. I personally thought Reece was competing today, so for that reason, I'm going to score him a 7 out of 10. And to end things with the first team, we end things with Kepa Arrizabalaga. Yes, he made that mistake in the first 90 seconds. However, you know, he was solid after that period. I can't blame him for that goal that Zaha scored. I think there's nothing he could have done. That was just a world-class goal from Wilfred, and I don't think any keepers are saving efforts like that. So I can't take nothing away. He was making himself available when it came to defending set pieces. He was running to get the ball, collecting it, and he looked confident doing so. I'm going to score Kepa a 6.5 out of 10. And to end things with the final player rating, that goes to our manager and Frank Lampard. I'm going to score Lampard an 8 out of 10. I thought that he got the right team selection. I thought he made the right subs at the right time too. Lampard did the best he could with the current set of players available to him at this point in time, man. They competed, they stood in there. I could tell that Lampard's words, his message during halftime, and really drove the players on, and they played with this competitive spirit that was very good to see. He's proving himself to be an exceptional tactician. He gets an 8 out of 10. And you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up now and keep things moving. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. There'll be more videos out tomorrow on EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.